Well, looks like we're going back to Jack in the Box to get a couple of tacos. Maybe one of these days I'll get enough rewards points and get myself a hamburger. Right now, just 2 tacos. $1 and some change. Looks like we got in a little bit of traffic. I've noticed about delivery is you have to be accepting on both ends. So I accept that this person wants to eat, and I will go and pick up their food and drop it off at their doorstep. Then the other person that, you know, ordered the food, they have to accept that it happened. If not, then that's kind of like stealing on their end, you know? So they have to be a little aware, you know? If you don't accept others, then you become a thief. So how FVR or FR works in delivery food is that you have a base pay. Now the base pay can change. It's usually $2.10 plus whatever tip you get. And that's it. So I had some lady give me a $14 tip. I didn't drive that far for the drop-off. It was Chinese food that was pretty nice. And that gives me like 16 bucks for just 30 minutes. So if I did 2 of those, I'd be doing 30 an hour. But you just got to get 2 of them. There's always Tarrant Roofing. You can go to tarrantroofing.com, which is right here. Tarrant Roofing, another roofing company. I used to work for them a little bit as a salesperson, and it's pretty tough. Now, if you're in a bonus neighborhood and you're doing food delivery for this particular app that I call FR, then you can get $4.20, if I'm not mistaken, or $4.10. No, it's $4.10. They changed they don't double it. So instead of $2.10, they change it to $4.10. They don't change it to $4.20. They don't double it exactly. They almost do. It's almost doubled. They take off that extra 10 cents so they can call it $4.10. And there's a reason they do that. Because it would be 4.20, which is 4.20. And so they changed that 10 cents. My aunt was a little bit like that. So if she ordered something and the amount came to $6.66, then she'd buy something else, so it would change to like $7.14. Or she'd take something off and it'd be like $5.47. She never wanted it to be 666. So this particular app doesn't want it to be 4.20 or 4.20, so they do it $4.10. And I experienced this is actually true. There's psychology going on. So that's if you're in a bonus neighborhood, and that's pretty good. It's pretty good for base pay. And then you can get a tip. So if I go to a bonus neighborhood, I could probably make quite a bit more, depending on how many. Ooh, lightning strike. Just it tells me every time there's a lightning strike. So it's pretty cool. You have to check it out. All right, so I'll reiterate myself. Okay, so what I mean is this. The base pay is $2.10. But if you go to a bonus neighborhood, they don't necessarily double it because the base pay on a bonus neighborhood is $4.10. So they just add $2. They just add $2 rather than double it, which would be $4.20, which is also known as $4.20. Now, I don't know. You know, maybe the bonus is just $2. But to me, it sounds like they don't want it to say $4.20. If you know what I mean. We're back at the UE. Remember, oversized vehicles use wide lanes. I think that's fine, bonus neighborhoods. But the base pay is, to me, personally, I know it's a statewide app, a little bit low. But people can be giving to know that, and sometimes you get big tips, like, you know, it's really about the tips on this one. There's Carvana right there. A lot of these black GMCs, big time rideshare. That BMW is probably rideshare. That Lexus is rideshare, I can tell. Yeah, he's Uber. You can see him on the app. Probably it looked like a Chinese guy that just got here. Probably right out of the gates. Right off the port. Landed here probably within the last few months. Now he's making buku money. I can't really tell if FVR is better than DoorDash, because the problem with DoorDash is during downtime you can't do it at all. It won't let you even try to. It has to be active. So if you're in an inactive neighborhood, then you gotta drive around and chase after DoorDash, and that I don't really like a whole lot. But I have made like $120 or whatever like that with DoorDash, working like a 10-hour shift, sometimes a little bit more. Grubhub, you can do $200 in 10 hours, without a doubt. Grubhub is probably the best. Don't know anything about Roadie. Still investigating it, doing a lot of research on YouTube. It looks like it could be something really, really good. I don't know. They're out of Atlanta. So they're a southern company out of Atlanta, Georgia. So Roadie looks interesting. It looks very different. It's mostly package. It looks like packaged stuff. Home Depot supplies. The guy that invented it, what he wanted to do was, he was doing a home project. So he was at home working in the garage or whatever. But he had to get all these different tools. And he went through different companies and it wouldn't get to him for like a week. And so he decided to invent a company, which was Roadie, so that you could get those tools that you needed same day. And then UPS partnered with him, and now they work with Delta and Home Depot and other places too. So I don't know. FVR, of course, they do more than just food stuff. I never say the name of the company that I'm working for as I'm doing it for security reasons, but I will tell you that I've worked for a lot of them. Uber, Lyft, Uber Eats, a whole lot. The guy's a butthole, but I know he had to do it, so that's okay. Luckily, he did it quick, so we're all okay. But that happens all the time. That's okay. There's nothing you can do about it. Just keep on going. Uber, Uber Eats, Lyft, DoorDash, Grubhub, and Postmates. Which Postmates, you do get a 420 award. So if you do 420 deliveries, this little marijuana leaf pops up on your phone, and it says 420 award, yay! And the little marijuana leaf dances around with a big smile on its face. True story. I did get a 420 award. I did my 420th award, and I thought to myself, this company is very unique. They got mad at me for either taking a tuna fish sandwich from 7-Eleven, or this lady got up in my face over a pack of cigarettes when I was dropping it off. I told the clerk guy with the tuna fish sandwich, I said I was going to pay for it through the app. It was during COVID, and I didn't want to, he was like kind of, I don't know if he was coughing or he was kind of getting kind of hectic. So you can pay for things through the app, and I guess he just didn't like that idea. Or it was because the lady got mad at me for, she didn't want to give me her ID or something over a pack of cigarettes. But we had to take photos of the ID and send it through. So they got mad at me. So that was Postmates. Pretty good company, okay, but the problem with Postmates is they'll make you go 25 miles out of the way for something, then they drop the order. You don't want to drive 25 miles and then they'll drop the order. But they do give you money at the end of the day. So usually you wake up and check your Postmates app and there'll be money in it. You're like, where did this come from? 20 or 30 bucks or something like that. So if you made like $100, you wake up the next day and it's $130 or something. But it happened to me a few times, so I didn't know where the money was coming from. Postmates is good during Christmas time because you deliver Apple products from Apple Store. So you could deliver like an Apple phone or let's say a laptop to someone's door, and you only have to do 3 of them for the whole day and you make more than $70. What I was doing math on right now, a teacher, they only make anywhere between $130 to $200 a day. you know, a public school teacher. Some of these apps, you make more than that daily. But you want to get good with a car company. You can easily pull probably $100 a day with FVR. But the problem is that you might have to work at it depending on if you're in a bonus neighborhood or not. Even if you're in a bonus neighborhood, it's still going to be work. But if you're not in a bonus neighborhood, it may be a little bit of a struggle. I don't know yet. I've only done it for about 3 days. Grubhub, they shell out the money. Let me just put it. Grubhub, they pay you very well. So if you work a 10-hour shift with Grubhub and you don't have 150 or more, then you're in a weird area. Because my Grubhub, if I worked a 10-hour shift, that thing would be pushing $200 easily, without a doubt. So they're at least $20 to $25 an hour, without a doubt. Sometimes the lunches are a little rough with Grubhub. Sometimes the lunches can be rough. Now, I will be honest, I've been going in because I'm not able to log into my Grubhub, and I've been going in my head asking what could possibly be wrong. Linda found out on Facebook Grubhub that someone else was having the same problem trying to log in, so I might try it. There was a time in the middle of the night where I woke up, and I've got these headphones. They're Bluetooth headphones. They're made in like China or Korea or something. I don't know where they're made, but they're a type of headphones that I use to edit, and it's a Bluetooth, so it doesn't have a wire or anything. It just goes right on. And I press a button to turn it off, and I press a button to turn it on. Now, here's the problem. Sometimes if I press the button wrong, it'll make a phone call through my phone. It'll call the last person that I talked to. And when I was doing a Grubhub delivery late at night, it got their phone number through the app, not through the encryption part. So sometimes they'll leave their phone number in the app, and you can call it to check to make sure they got, the order, or if you need directions to get to where they're at. Well, when I pressed that button in the middle of the night, when I was editing, I was trying to turn it off. All of a sudden, it made a phone call. I think it called that person in the middle of the night. They have a policy on a few of them where you're never to call a person if it's not during the actual delivery. They traced that, and they could have canned me because of that one little wrong press that I made on that headphone to call the wrong person. It's a butt dial. You can't even do that. So what you want to do at the end of the night when you're done is make sure you delete your phone log if you have a device like a Bluetooth device that may make a phone call on accident to, like butt dial or Bluetooth dial. So I pressed that button, all of a sudden it called the last person. There's a call button on it that'll call the last phone number, like a star 69 kind of thing back in the day. So you have to be careful and make sure you go through and get rid of all. Now I do it with text. I make sure I get through all the text, and I erase all the text and all that stuff. But you also want to do if you call them. So you want to try not to make phone calls to people, because that leaves a trace to your phone where you might accidentally call them, like in the middle of the night or something like that, and they'll can you for it. So watch out. Get rid of those phone calls and the traces of those phone calls, because that can be detrimental to your job. That probably happened with Grubhub maybe, and they saw that phone call went out from that phone maybe, and then they just canned me. I don't know. They didn't send me any email or anything. Neither did DoorDash. I just woke up one day, logged into my DoorDash, and it said deactivated. I had DoorDash for 3 years. Don't know what happened. It was completely like, what? I thought I was doing good with DoorDash. Grubhub, I don't know. Probably the same thing. I'll find out though. I can tell what a butt dial or star 69 or a Bluetooth dial might be, because right when it called out, I hung up before it could even start ringing. Because I always do that with that Bluetooth thing. I'm using it, and all of a sudden it dials out, and I just hang up really quick. So it probably wasn't because of that. But I'm doing an investigation to find out exactly what was going on. A while back, my mom accidentally got hacked because she was using Foxfire. They went in, they tried to open an account, all this stuff, and she caught them because they went in, because she thought they were a technician working on her laptop. They went in and asked to get in, meaning they didn't like show up or anything, but they showed up on her screen to repair it on the computer, and it turned out to be a hacker, and they were representing Apple. They were pretending like they were Apple. So she had slammed the computer down, and that disconnected the phone call, or it's kind of like a phone call, but it's what it is it's they go through the computer. It's like a computer phone call. So she hung it up, and it detached the hacker, and then they went through. She had to call the bank. The bank had to do their own investigation, and then I think she called Apple too. So Apple investigates some of those things too, and you don't want Apple to investigate it, but that's what really happened. She said the guy had like a Middle Eastern accent, kind of like an Arab accent kind of thing. We don't know. He's like, sure, I'm Apple, I'll help you, yes. Just hang it up, just grab it. But I'm not against, I'm a big Ben Kingsley fan. I love India. I'm big about that. But listen, that stuff happens, and a lot of times those hackers are kind of like that. So I'm not trying to sound racist or anything, but it's a sign of that. If the guy's got like some kind of thick accent or something, be careful. I'm not saying that all people that work in call centers have perfect English accents, and I know that's a big thing. In India and also other countries, they'll work on their accents to sound like their English accent or non-regional American accent. But in this case, this was a low blow, and it was. My mom said it sounded like a foreign person's accent. It didn't sound like a non-regional accent. She said it sounded like that guys kind of talk like that, and that's a low blow. Listen, man, I didn't hack into your mom's computer. You know what I mean? So but they may think it's funny, but they do that stuff, and they know how to take advantage of older people that are sitting there surfing on their computer, and all of a sudden something goes wrong and their computer freezes up, and they call them and they pretend like they're working on their computer, and then they start digging around through their bank accounts. Okay, you can get a lot of trouble with that. So I told my mom to immediately call the FBI, because a hacker like that needs to be investigated. If they can get into someone's computer, especially if it's an Apple computer, they need to be stopped big time. We got a lot of rain coming up. Looks like in every direction, clouds all along the way. I was talking a lot, so there was a little bit of a lull. But I went by Jack in a Box and redeemed my code, and I got 2 Jumbo Jacks. I really wanted the Supreme croissants, but the guy was kind of arguing with me a little bit about the number, because there was a number of code. Finally, we figured out the number, so he's put Jumbo Jacks, but he's giving me a free one. So I had to pay for other one. It was like $3 and something, and I got a free Jumbo Jack. So I went ahead and settled and went, I'll just take the Jumbo Jacks. So I got 2 Jumbo Jacks for the price of 1, and I filled out another code. So I've got my receipt code over here, right here. You can kind of see it right here, the receipt code. And I filled that out. It only takes a minute. And I always give them a 5 as long as they cooperate. They seem to be nice. He gave me the Jumbo Jacks. Now we got to go to 7-Eleven and pick up whatever it is and drop it off at your door. I always say food delivery. I might as well change it to cigarette delivery. Because in this one with the FVR, they don't just do food delivery. They do cigarette delivery. And we're talking all different types. Now, when I smoked, and I got stories about smoking if you watch my channel, I have not smoked since 2000 and the very edge of 13. Okay? So right when 2013 started in January, or I smoked in January, February, March, April, May, and quit right then in June when I met my second wife, 2013 of June. So I have not had a cigarette since June of 2013, so almost 10 years. I smoked for a continuous 6 years. And I smoked a little bit when I was a teenager, and I smoked a little bit in my 20s because I was an actor in my 20s. I do a lot of stage work, and they would require smoking for certain roles. So I would just smoke the real cigarettes usually. Sometimes I'd do herbal cigarettes, but usually it was just real cigarettes. I did a little bit in my 20s. I didn't smoke continuously really ever until I met my first wife. She actually introduced me to David Lynch, and she was pretty cool. She was in the radio. She studied American Broadcast School. And she was kind of a smoker. She was half Sicilian, so that kind of explains it. I'm not judging Sicilians, but she smoked. I started smoking Camel Silvers most consistently for almost 5 years straight. Then I switched over the last year and smoked American Spirit, the yellow and the blue pack. Really like the blue pack. But that was the American Spirits. I did that for only a year, and then I smoked the Camel Silvers for about 5 years starting off. Don't know why I did Camel Silvers, because when I was smoking the American Spirits and I went back to smoking Camel Silvers, I didn't like the Camel Silvers. I was like, ugh, didn't even like the way it tasted. I liked the American Spirits. And I met a girl in college. She had the same name as a Fleetwood Mac song. And she told me about the American Spirits. And she also smoked a cigarette with a little bumblebee on it. But she also told me about the American Spirits and smoked a little bit of the American Spirits, which were yellow pack. And did like them back then in college, because when I had an English class, I smoked to stay awake at night and to drink coffee, because the English teacher, this is college level English, when he went into the classroom to introduce himself, he said, most of all of you are going to fail this course. And we all just kind of looked at each other and went, oh no. It was the hardest course that I had taken other than German, which was a German language course, which was very difficult. But it was very difficult, and we were required to read sometimes even a whole book in one night. Not my style at all. I read Stephen King's Stand over a period of 6 years. Okay, so I did have the chance. I had the option to speed read. They had speed reading courses at University of North Texas that they were offering for free. So you could take these speed reading courses and get through a whole book in one night. Never took any of them. Stayed away from that. But I was able to read enough. I would read up to 6 hours a night. That's whenever I started having trouble with my eyes. Never wore any glasses or anything. A lot of people in my family don't. My grandfather had a little bit of problems because he was diabetic. And he actually went completely blind and had some problems towards the end. But I didn't have any reading problems at all in college, or with the glasses for reading, and did not wear my first pair of reading glasses until I was about 40 years old, and I'm working on 50. So this class that I took, there was so much reading that I think I put some strains on my eyes. I remember when I would read the book, and everything would kind of start going blurry after about 3 or 4 hours of reading, and I would go like this with my eyes, and then I could read another paragraph, and then I'd have to do this again, and then I could read another paragraph, and then I'd have to do this, and then read another paragraph. It was really weird. I did that throughout the course. Never had any reading glasses or anything throughout that whole course. But I did smoke American Spirit Yellow, and I drank coffee. It was very exciting. Read Kafka. We read Metamorphosis. We read Flaubert, or whatever that person's name is, the one that did the Madame Bovary. We read about everything but War and Peace. We may have even read a little bit of War and Peace. Dostoevsky, read all the Notes on the Underground, all the real good stuff. We read a lot of stuff, and all masterpiece stuff. It was a masterpiece kind of course kind of thing. And I made an A, so I did really well. And I didn't cheat or anything on that course. I didn't. I was able. But in math, it's a whole different story. I'll tell you about math later. Had a guy help me with math, but you did have to take the final and calculus on my own. I always had to take it. I got through it. But with English and reading, it can get tough on the eyes. Now, some of these Kindles and stuff were brand new. When I was in college, I did not have a computer. I used the computer lab. I had no computer. The only computer that I had during college was a Casio. It was a scientific Casio calculator. That was it. No computer. But I had a computer lab, so I could go into the computer lab, and it was 24 hours. So we'd get coffee and go to the computer lab, and we wouldn't leave until morning when we were working on an English paper, because we had to put everything in MLA format. It's like publication kind of stuff. But anyway, I got through that course for the English course. That's why I always say for you English majors, I always say that. I'm not an English major. I'm a theater arts major. That's what I graduated in. That's my content. I went to the teaching thing today. But we had to study some English. We had to study core classes. So those are classes that you have to take to even get your degree, which I ended up getting my bachelor's. That's all I have is a bachelor's. I do not have a master's. I never got it. I only got 1 year on my master's, and that was just in acting only. Did not complete that. I left the school because I was afraid New York City was going to blow up. Now, I did all my bachelor stuff in Denton, Texas, where a bunch of hippies live. A lot of hippies. And they all ride bicycles and grow gardens. They have gardens in their backyard. A lot of them have long hair. We all wear green. Well, now, after I graduated college from Denton, UNT, University of North Texas, two things happened. One thing happened, one of the biggest marijuana drug busts took place in Denton in the nation. The entire house that they busted was laced in marijuana. So it was a huge marijuana drug bust that was coming out of Mexico or something. Wasn't my fault. But after I left, another thing happened where it was a few years afterwards, horrible hazing through one of the fraternities. They made this guy drink water until he died, and they got in a lot of trouble. I never joined a fraternity. Now, I did get an award at Texas Wesleyan for a fraternity. That was only because of the fraternity or sorority, or it was a fraternity and sorority. It was Alpha Psi. They gave me an award only because I was a big weirdo, and they gave me some kind of award for it, for being an actor. I was in the theater department, but I never joined a fraternity or sorority, and I never had any interest. I kept to myself. I jog around a whole lot. I ate a bunch of dates. They were module dates, kind of like dates that grow on palm trees. And I was a big vegetarian for about 6 years in college. Didn't eat any meat. Then later on, I studied mime, and I met a mime teacher who told me I should eat eggs, at least eggs. He told me, he said, Cole, at least eat eggs. Because when I studied mime, I only drank tomato soup and ate beans. True story. Just tomato soup and beans the entire time. Loved it. But I had to go back and change. I became more of a carnivore later on. My second wife was a pretty big carnivore. She was a DBU student. They basically work with a SWAT force kind of thing. They have a SWAT team force right next to the university, so you can hear people shooting MAC-10s while they're studying for algebra, or whatever, studying for world religion. I gotta drop this one off. 2 Camel Crush pack. All right.